first glance, the building that now stands at 1012 North Main Street appears desolate and crumbling, remnant of Fourth Worth industrial age. But in 1921, the building was known by another name, Clavern 101. The Star-Telegram reports on July 6, 2020, that Clavern 101 is believed to be the last building in the United States built by and for the Ku Klux Klan. The Klan rebuilt the hall in 1925 and used the building for 2 years. For the Klan, the building wasn't just a meeting hall, but a cornerstone of the community, being publicly used for business meetings and parades. Since 1991, the building has remained vacant and falling apart. However, the Christian Science Monitor notes on September 6, 2019, the building could get a new facelift as one group, DNA Works, hopes to transform the space into a community center for performing arts and community healing. The aforementioned Christian Science Monitor reports the aim for the building is to focus on promoting dialogue, justice, and equity, while also highlighting Fort Worth's history of racism and racial violence. But with a history rooted in creating further racial divisions, we must ask, how can public spaces with divisive pasts overcome their negative associations? To answer, we'll look at Scott Mitchell's model, Spaces of Emergent Memory, Detroit's 8 Mile Wall and Public Memories of Civil Rights and Justice, published in the October 2018 Communication and Critical Cultural Studies. Mitchell's analysis is ideal because it explores how memories produced from traumatic experiences persist over time. Let's examine Mitchell's analysis, apply it to DNA Works' transformation project, and finally review some implications. Emergent memories are defined as memories naturally produced from extraordinary circumstances that rhetorically transform spaces into vessels of memory. Mitchell applies this concept to Detroit's 8 Mile Wall. In his model, he illustrates 3 tenets: emergent memory establishment, memory endurance, and cultural attribution. First, an emergent memory establishment. Emergent memories appear from extraordinary events, creating an impression on those impacted. Built in the 1940s to keep Black citizens from white neighborhoods, today the wall has been reclaimed from its original purpose of historical oppression through artistic renderings. While some portraits portray prominent civil rights activists, others depict citizens' hope for the future of their city. As such, the murals illustrate emergent memories by providing both a vision toward the city's future, while also remembering Detroit's history of discrimination and racial division. Second, memory endurance. Mitchell explains that through regular engagement, the significance behind the emergent memories persists over time, allowing the implications to be maintained. For the citizens living near the wall today, the murals continue to force a re-evaluation of their concept of Detroit. By highlighting the city's spatial boundaries, the murals of Detroit's 8 Mile Wall highlight the obstructed potential for housing mobility of Black residents. Thus, the implications are maintained over time. Finally, cultural configuration. The emergent memories serve as cultural traits, or provincial qualities to the implicated communities. As time passes, the positive associations of the murals become solidified in public memory, serving as a distinct feature in Detroit's history. Because the wall is located in the northwest part of the city, a majority Black community, it continues to inform those living there that they are living in Detroit, a city defined by both its legacy of discrimination and optimistic future. Now that we've examined Mitchell's model, we can apply it as a rhetorical lens for understanding the DNA Works transformation. First, emergent memory establishment. Like the construction of Detroit's 8 Mile Wall, Clavern 101 is a divisive symbol and remains a stark reminder of the city's relationship with discrimination. According to a report published by the Fort Worth Task Force on Race and Culture in December 2018, citizens living near the wall today feel that city leaders have failed to adequately address issues of racism, resulting in victims feeling unheard and perpetrators feeling empowered. A message further reinforced by the case of Jacqueline Craigs, a local Fort Worth Black citizen. The Guardian notes in a December 22, 2016 article that after Jacqueline called the Fort Worth police to report a neighbor had attempted to choke her son, Instead of arresting the neighbor, Jacqueline and her 2 teenage daughters were pushed to the ground and arrested. It's the case of Jacqueline that serves as the emergent memory establishment, reminding those living near the hall today that the lives and experiences of white citizens are worth more than their black counterparts. Second, memory endurance. In order to flip this narrative and create new emergent memories that will persist over time, DNA Works' goal is to transform the space into an international center for performing arts and community healing. In an interview published in artsandseek.org on December 19, 2019, DNA Works co-founder Adam McKinney states the plan is to have a civil rights museum and an educational wing, highlighting the building's history. In addition, the group also plans to host workshops on restorative justice and liberation. All of this design, McKinney furthers, to provide a unique opportunity for citizens to reconcile not only with the racist history of Fort Worth, but that of the United States. By hosting these types of programs and providing citizens the opportunity to engage interactively with their community's history, the new memories will persist over time. Finally, cultural attribution. As the surrounding community begins to interact with the community center more, the negative emergent memories are transfigured into positive associations and experiences that will not only endure, but be preserved over time. Having applied Mitchell's model to DNA Works project, we can now return to our research question. How can public spaces with divisive pasts overcome their negative associations? We transform the public memory of spaces by repurposing them with the intent of education and community, drawing 2 critical implications: racial healing and reframing history. First, DNA Works' plan forces a re-evaluation of America's rhetoric towards its racist past. Mitchell reminds us in the second tenet that emergent memories persist over time because of community engagement. America's ignorance of its history persists over time because citizens are forced to engage it on a daily basis. Instead of students learning about Juneteenth, considered by many to be the second Independence Day for Black people, students instead learn about the passing of the Emancipation Proclamation. As Tina Hefner, president of the National Council for the Social Studies, notes on June 30th, 2020, Black history is taught through a prism of victimization and oppression instead of persistence and resistance. DNA Works' transformation of Clavering 101 flips this narrative on its head by forcing individuals to regard Black history as a story of perseverance and excellence, not defined by injustices, resulting in, second, a reclaiming of this history. This idea of reclaiming is exemplified by the National Civil Rights Museum, located in Memphis, Tennessee. Located at the former Lorraine Motel, where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. Today, the museum is one of America's premier cultural museums, fostering new dialogue on the history of civil rights in America. Like the Civil Rights Museum, DNA Works' transformation of Clavering 101 highlights that spaces associated with tragedy and bigotry can be reclaimed for the purpose of education. Today, we've analyzed Scott Mitchell's model, Spaces of Emergent Memory, applied it to DNA Works' transformation of Clavering 101, and examined its implications regarding the future of public sites with divisive pasts. Clavering 101 is unique in that it serves as the last standing building built by and for the Ku Klux Klan. There may not be another Clavering 101, but the symbolism behind the building is significant. Many buildings have divisive pasts, and coming to terms with that can be a difficult process. But the DNA Works project shows how historical hate and bigotry can be overturned through hard work and perseverance. Thank you.